I'm so fucking happy this video exists, and it validates exactly why I don't really care to fucking hashtag free Palestine with these fucking morons. Nah, you get through this, y'all cannot tell me shit, even though I already knew all this beforehand. And by the way, I do not support what Israel is doing. I clearly don't. I've never liked Israel. I've hated Israel for years. I've always laughed them. I've always made fun of Israel. Fuck Israel for that shit. And fuck Israel for a lot of other things. But regardless of what they do, Mossad, leave me alone. I'm okay. Please leave me alone. I'm just fucking with y'all. For real, in all honesty. In all true honesty here. I've pretty much known this shit right here. And it's kind of why I didn't say jack shit at all about the Free Palestine shit. I just sat and watched and lolly-dawed and said, not really my purview and care. But I knew something like this would arise where, of course, Black Americans are being told they have to suck it up and do the greater good. And be okay with being disparaged racially. Yup. You see why I don't like Hassan Piker? I don't like that side. This is what they think. You're going to hear this. And as a black person, I want you to understand. You can still be free Palestine. I don't blame you for that. Do what you want. But I want you to understand that your concerns will be pushed to the wayside, for convenience. And I want you to understand that these people are not the virtuous, good people they say they are. They're often blinded by their own stupidity. And this is just pretty fucking dumb. Like, this entire video here is just dumb.
Go on this trip with Black Americans because I was always under the impression that Black people will be our greatest allies.
That's your first mistake. That is your first mistake.
Because they understand more than anybody what it's like to live under occupation.
What would a Black American understand in today's climate what it's like to live under any occupation? All social racism and dumb shit aside, or whatever the fuck. Do you understand that that's the dumbest thing you could say? Why would they understand what it's like to live in a third world country under terrorist occupation? Why would they know what it's like to have to basically be under the occupation of child-killing sick fucks like Hamas while they're getting fucking pile drive bombed by Israel because the fucking Prime Minister Israel doesn't want to fucking go to court for his bullshit crimes that he should just fucking answer for? How the fuck did you think that? That is so fucking ignorant and dumb. Ugh, this is gonna be a long video.
It's like to be oppressed and racially profiled.
But no, they're not oppressed in America. Oppression doesn't... America is still a first world country. Yes, the social issues are what they are at times, but it's not true oppression. You're comparing this to a third world country that has a literal terrorist regime being its only defense versus Israel bombing them. And the only reason Israel's bombing them is because of the terrorist regime of Hamas. You morons. So no, we're not going to know what that's like. What the fuck is wrong with you?
During the trip, it felt like some people were too busy playing Oppression Olympics to fully grasp the experiences of Palestinians living in Palestine. Some people came on the trip with a very limited understanding of the Palestinian people and the Palestinian cause, which...
This is what Malcolm X was talking about, by the way. I just want y'all to realize, I know he walked those comments back, I'm pretty sure after maybe being threatened with his life at this point. I believe he was threatened into walking that back, because there ain't no fucking way that he wasn't dead on about this. This is what we're talking about with liberalism. Not even just leftism, if anything. This is the problem. And this is why, people got to be more wise with what they choose to support. Stop choosing trends and hashtags, young Black Americans, if I'm speaking to you. Stop choosing trends. Stop choosing fucking... Think, okay? Really think. Does this sound fucking right to you? How you should be letting this slide? Because I'm not going to lie. Fuck that. I'm not letting this slide. I'm not gonna be told how I should feel about racism and racial charged insults. You know? This is why I am hateful of all sides. And I don't give a fuck if some fucking moronic retard with his little rainbow flags and his little Palestine flag wants to tell me how he thinks that he wants centrists to fucking burn in hell. Fuck you, dude. Because your side's out here believing in shit like this. So as far as I'm concerned, you can go fuck yourself. You gotta give a fuck what your sorry ass thinks about things politically. This is the truth of what they think. A lot of them think like this. Hassan Piker, Frogan, Denims. This is how they think. I want you to think about that. Sean the Black, it's already too late for you, actually. You can stay there. I want y'all to think about this. Think. For real, I'm being dead serious. This is the shit that I dipped out the minute that I was being told that my feelings are invalidated because of someone else going through worse shit. So they have the right to be ignorant and racist, fucking not learn. Now, granted, I understand what they're going through is horrible, and that does not mean I support them being murdered, killed, or genocided. I don't. That doesn't mean I have to take up the sword and support with people like this who are so fucking just dumb.
Is problematic in and of itself. But the most problematic thing was the fact that some people were applying a Western lens of racial dynamics to a place where it does not apply. I am not going.
Okay, so I actually agree with this to an extent. A lot of Western people do have this unfortunate need to go out of their way to apply their own values and traditions to a place that just doesn't hold it. Like, you know, the example, those morons, they were Canadian, but they're still Western valued idiots. They went to Egypt and thought they could cross the border from Egypt to go walk to Palestine. Now, that is dumb on so many levels for so many reasons. Okay, barring the biggest reason, even if the biggest reason didn't exist and Egypt were to open the border, Hamas would kill you. They would fucking mutilate you, kill you, cut your arms off, shove it up your own ass. I don't really know what the fuck they would do. They just do horrible shit to you. Or use you as leverage, then kill you. I don't fucking know. But you're gonna die. Walking across the open desert to Palestine is asking to die. I'm just letting you know that. That is stupid. They will kill you. They're a terrorist group. They will kill you. End of discussion. But I guess that actually will be the biggest problem. But actually, maybe the other problem, that's the elephant in the room. Oh yeah, Egypt isn't opening their borders to shit. They do not give a fuck and don't want to give a fuck about the Palestinian Israeli issue because they have had issues before with opening their borders. I'm not going to talk about those issues, but they don't want no part of it. So when the Egyptian government is telling you, hey, dumbass, go the fuck home. We're not going to open the borders, idiot. They are telling you, go the fuck home. And did these idiots do that? No, they bitch, moaned, and applied their Western values in their Western lens to another country and their laws and their rules and got their asses handed to them, thankfully. And I don't feel bad for any one of them. You can yell free Palestine all you want, but you are in someone else's fucking country, their laws, their rules. Shut the fuck up and obey it, Superman. You are not fucking Clark Kent or Kal-El, a borderless superhero. You are literally an idiot. So shut up, fuck off. But no, that's Western lens. I can agree to that. I do.
To sit here and deny that anti-blackness exists in every single part of the world.
You're not denying it. You're basically excusing it.
But the issue of race is much different in Palestine than...
It's really not. And the reasoning is actually the same as well. It's ignorance and deep-blooded hatred. That's fine. That also means I don't have to give a flying fuck. I don't have to care. Now, granted, that does not mean I support genocide. I don't. Not even racists deserve to have their families killed. I don't even agree with that. I don't agree with children of racists being murdered. Now, I'm talking like actually racist in a privileged land like America. I don't fucking agree with that at all. That's disgusting. Okay. What I will say, though, is there are other things in the world to support that isn't centered around Palestine. There's a lot of atrocities going on within Africa alone. You know, Palestinians aren't the only people being oppressed, lady. There are war criminals all over the world. especially in Africa, which no one seems to care to talk about. But apparently, Black Americans should sit there and placate the racism and only focus on this and be invited. Fuck you. No, like, fuck you, actually. Legit.
In most other places in the world. In Palestine, Palestinians of all colors are undoubtedly the most oppressed people.
Undoubtedly? Is that really where you want to go with this? Because, again, a lot of atrocities going on in certain parts of the world, in Africa, Lebanon. There's so many places that I can list. But you really want to go on that hill? Really? All right. Iran's literally not on that. Okay. Okay. See what I mean? When you say something like that, you are excluding every other cause in the world to only focus on what you deem is important. So we should basically sidestep the racism and not have an issue with it, right? To fix your cause that you feel strongly about. And understandably fine. But that doesn't mean that people can't feel the way that they feel. And that doesn't mean you have the right to just fucking sit there and blatantly disregard everything else going on in the world. That is dangerously uh idealistic and idiotic at best. That is unreal. Wow, that is eye-opening.
In Palestine, a non-Palestinian black person is more privileged than a Palestinian of any color.
I mean, sure, awesome, great, but a Palestinian American is more privileged than any fucking African dude getting oppressed and murdered and mutilated in Africa right now by any fucking seldom warlord. So I mean, what's your point? It has nothing to do with skin color, lady. It has everything to do with area and disposition. What the fuck? No shit.
And an American, black or white, is one of the most privileged people in Palestine.
No, they're not. What are you talking about? Dude, you're a fucking target. If I'm in Palestine as an American, I am a fucking target, you moron. Hamas would kill me. What are you talking about? That's not privilege, it's a target on your back. What the hell are you on about? Oh, I hate people.
Right beneath Israelis.
Is this bitch serious? Of course you have to go back to Israel. Yes, they're so privileged, Israelis. The people who everyone wants to be killed in the streets and dragged through and murdered. And I'm sure Palestinians would be so inviting to Israelis. I'm sure they so would after everything that's happened. They certainly wouldn't drag an Israeli person through the street and butcher them. You're so right. Hamas, Hamas who went in on October 7th and killed a bunch of Israeli people. Sure, if an Israeli person walked up in Palestine, they wouldn't be picked up and killed. You're so right, lady. They'd be so privileged. They have the privilege. Is it the Thanos privilege? You have the privilege of being ended by the one true Titan. Rejoice. What are you, Ebony Maw, you dumb bitch? What are you talking about? Do you know what privilege? I have never in my life watched a video in which I can literally point to people just saying whatever to move, like just to move a goalpost, but I don't think we understand what privilege is. Being from America is a privilege. Being in America is a privilege. Yeah. Being a target because you're American doesn't seem like a privilege to me.
People in the group were too busy victimizing themselves and taking out their anger on all the wrong people.
So they don't have a right to be mad about being racially disparaged? I'm so shocked by this. I'm really not. This is just funny to me.
To sit with the reality that in modern day, there are some people that are more oppressed than them.
So Oppression Olympics, basically. So we're doing Oppression Olympics. All right, let's go.
One person in particular was incredibly problematic, especially considering she was one of the group leads
Yep.
who was hosting private conversations
Yep.
exclusively for the 7 Black people in the
Mm-hmm.
group, which under almost any other circumstances I would encourage. I encourage Black people to create safe spaces for themselves to discuss racial issues among themselves. But the issue is that the only comments I heard come out of this person's mouth about Palestine and Palestinians were negative, were about how racist we are, were about how slavery persisted until the 20th century in Palestine, which is such an uneducated take, by the way. It was not exclusive to Black people.
What? That cannot be your answer. So, because it wasn't exclusive to Black people, they can't discuss on the fact that this still happened. Okay. You see, this is the problem when you start doing this when you start thinking this way. All right. This, that is not a good answer. This is why Malcolm X was so isolated. I didn't always agree with Malcolm X growing up, but I've, oh man, am I starting to really understand that maybe Malcolm was a lot more right than Martin Luther King than I ever thought, even though as a kid I didn't think it because I was under this type of stupid influence, but now I've grown and seen, nah, Malcolm X was right. This is so fucking ignorant. You you basically just sat there and said that we should be okay with slavery and all that. Okay, because it wasn't exclusive to us. That doesn't make any sense. So because it wasn't exclusive to us, we should be okay. We should be fine. We should be all right. We good. No, lady, that's not the lesson here. Oh, okay. There's more, isn't there? Right, there's more.
And it was not done mostly by Palestinians. So I believe these conversations being hosted by a person who came to Palestine with biases against Palestinians.
No, they were racially targeted and shit on, and then they grew more biases. That's what happened.
Were so dangerous to Palestinians and ultimately to Black Palestinian solidarity. The most ironic part about all of this is the fact that we sat and had dinner with Afro-Palestinians in Palestine. We sat and broke bread with the family who runs the Afro-Pali Center in Jerusalem. They are Black. They are visibly Black, and yet they are highly respected in the Palestinian community for the work that they do for Palestinians. I even talked to the chef at our hotel in the last couple of days who was a political prisoner. He had just gotten out of prison 2 months before we arrived in Palestine. And he told us that he sat side by side with an Afro-Palestinian, son of the couple who runs the Afro-Pali Center. He sat with him in prison, and he was shocked when I asked him about racism in Palestine because he was like, those are my brothers. I don't care what color they are. During this trip, I sat with Palestinians and I told them, talk to me bluntly. I'm a Palestinian. I'm not going to judge our community. Talk to me about racism in Palestine. And every single one of them was like, what is there to say? Like, racism exists in every community, yes. But in Palestine, it's actually few and far between. Because the issue of...
If that's the case, then why does there seem to be a problem? If that's the case, then why does there seem to be a problem? It seems like it's not few and far between. It seems like there is a lot of racism there. Or else no one would bring it up. Why? Because some people who are not racist said some shit? I'm sure. But did you ask did the whole community come up and say something? Because I don't think that. I mean, okay, so by your logic, I mean, there are some Israelis that would want to see your race exterminated, but that's not nearly all of them. It's actually few and far between of all the Israeli citizens that even think that. They don't even agree with their government. But because you guys cherry pick a few idiots online, okay. You know what I mean? And I don't know, maybe that seems like a pretty flawed logical base, don't you think? Again, if it wasn't such a problem, why are people bringing it up? Why are people... Do you think that this isn't a reaction to something? Why do you think that this is happening? Why do you think that Black people who First of all, lady, think of your logic here. Why would black people who have biases towards Palestinians come at all to give a half fuck about what they're going through and come to Palestine on the trip? Which, by the way, how did you get in? I thought they were closed off, but whatever. Okay. So if they had those biases, then they wouldn't have come. But they did come. So they didn't have those biases, meaning that something happened and you're sweeping for it.
Race is so much more complicated in a place like Palestine. And
how is it complicated? What? It's not a complicated thing. They hate if they hate someone for the color of their skin. I can't. Wow. Okay.
I have been involved in black activism for many years, and I know that when I am in black spaces, it is not my place to call out issues within the black community, especially.
Well, maybe you should. Why? If you see something wrong, call it out. Why? It doesn't give certain black people a pass to be overly homophobic, to be racist themselves. You think that we don't have ignorance in our community? You're wrong. We have horrible ignorance in our community half the damn time. You see what's going on with the Tourette's issue? Shit. So you should be able to call it out as much as you please. If it's something's wrong, call it out. That's the problem. Y'all think like it's just this purity mindset. And why? That's just not how it is. Now, granted, it doesn't mean you speak over black people on their issues, but if you see something wrong, call it out for what it is.
When those people are being slaughtered. When I am in black spaces, I am there to observe, to learn, to be an ally, not to call out black people.
So if a black dude went up, smacked you on the ass, said some racial shit to you and said that he wants to dick you down, you're not going to call it out? No, you're going to obviously call it out, and rightfully so. And then the black community, if we have any fucking sense, will deal with that motherfucker. That's the way it should be, right? I don't understand leftist mindset. I really don't. It's really dumb.
By the way, these same people who sat there and talked all this shit about how racist Palestinians are did not hesitate to pose in front of a ginormous George Floyd mural painted by a Palestinian artist. They posed with that artist in front of the mural.
Okay, so let me get this straight. You're mad because it seems like you're invalidating their experiences of what happened over here. Because I'd love to hear what they had to say. Because this didn't happen out of nowhere, lady. This really didn't. I'm telling you this right now. It makes no sense to me how they have pre-existing biases that they made up in their head, but then decided to still go on the trip. That makes no sense.
And I bet they wouldn't dare look that artist in the face and say that he's racist.
Maybe he wasn't being racist. Did you ever think about the fact that there was racism that happened there, and that you're just okay? I'm saying the same thing, but you guys know what I'm saying. Like, this is so stupid to me.
By the way, go support that artist. He's Banksy.2 on Instagram. He's an incredible person, incredible artist who I'm still in communication with. He is struggling right now. His daughter is in the hospital, so please reach out and try to help in any way that you can. But I refused to pose in that picture with the rest of the group because literally an hour before that, they were making fun of Palestinians. We passed a...
Okay. See, context has changed dramatically. What you're bringing up is not making fun of or mocking Palestinians. It is a direct complaint about racism and a direct complaint about being treated like a lesser citizen and being shit on for the color of their skin. Not making fun of. You just changed the context completely. So which is it?
Girl that was supposed to be, I believe, of Nelson Mandela, but it wasn't the greatest art, and so it kind of looked like George Floyd, and they couldn't tell who it was, and they literally said, I'm so sick of these people. And yet they won't hesitate to pose in front of a George Floyd mural for a social media photo op. Even when we were about to walk into a masjid, there were beggars outside the masjid who asked some people for money. And she made a comment about how, oh, notice how they're not asking the black people for money because they think all black people are poor. And I said, you don't know that. Those same people didn't ask me, a Palestinian American, for money. They're not assuming I'm poor. In fact, when they know you're American, you're immediately up here to them. They immediately assume you have money and that you're privileged in ways that they'll never experience. The reason that they didn't ask some people for money had nothing to do with the fact that those people are black. They simply just approached a few people.
So what I'm getting from this is you are invalidating what your black co-mates, or what the fuck you want to call it, are saying because you think that there was no racism at all over there. Even though clearly this is a reaction to certain things. Meaning that there was racist shit that happened over there and you are invalidating it because your cause is more important. I am not saying that it is right to say that an entire race of people... No, I do not believe that at all about Palestinians, that they're all racist. But to act as though that you should invalidate your the people on here on the trip with you, invalidate their experiences, I don't know, bro. That sounds pretty fucked to me, nigga.
People out of the entire group asking for money. I could ramble about this for hours because it was one of the most frustrating things of my life to watch people come from America to a place like Palestine and act like they're more oppressed than people literally living under occupation.
But you literally brought them along because in your mind you thought that they understood this. So you're contradicting your own words. This is why leftism is retarded.
And it's so ironic because the entire time I'm trying to find parallels between the lives of Palestinians, between the racial profiling that I experienced as a Palestinian and the experiences of black people in America. I thought that this would be...
We're not the same. That's just dumb. We're not the same. First of all, we went through... We for years, we were sold out by people in Africa. Our people were sold out to slave traders to come to America and treated as literal slaves. We were slaves for years. Okay? Years. Then treated like second-class citizens regardless, even after freedom. Okay? Your people, unfortunately, were mistreated due to the events of a terrorist attack on September 11th. And that's kind of what spurred on all that the anti-rhetoric, which is wrong and disgusting in itself. We're not the same. We don't go through the same experiences. In fact, I'm surprised. In fact, there is no... I don't know what you're trying to say here, but you sound like someone that has a very childish mindset on things. Dude, I'm going to keep it a buck with you. A lot of black people don't like Middle Easterners, dog. This sounds fucked up to tell you this, but no one likes anyone, okay? I have heard some of the most crazy shit being spoken about minorities by minorities. I have never heard a white person actually say worse shit than minorities about other minorities. I'm not lying to you. That's why I don't get offended by when white people do racism, because they're not that offensive. They just kind of suck at it because they don't understand minorities enough to actually offend them enough. A lot of them that are racist, they're truly racist. But minorities that are around other minorities, they know exactly what to say to piss people off. That's why I know I've heard some true offensive shit versus the lame ass social media dork shit. Like, I don't care when some loser anime profile pic dork says some shit. It's like, dude, you are beneath me regardless because you watch anime. So I have a prejudice towards you as a subhuman fuck anyways. You're nothing to me. But when a minority says some shit about another minority, bro, it's real. Trust, it's real. This is that fairy tale mindset leftists have, like it's a big family. No, it's not. It's really not. And the sooner you guys get that, the better for yourselves.
An opportunity for us to come together and understand each other better, not to create more division. But this is why some people are so dangerous to the movement, not only to the pro-Palestinian movement, but also to black activism. Because if I was somebody else, if I haven't already done so much work for the black community, if I didn't already have a deep understanding of racial dynamics, this entire experience might have pushed me away from the black community. But I know that these rotten tomatoes in the...
Yeah, lady, I need you to understand something. You're invalidating their experiences as if it never happened. You haven't referenced one time about if they're making this up or not. Your story makes no sense. So they came on a trip to help a group that they didn't get, that you apparently think they have a bias against. Okay, then why'd they go on the trip? That makes no sense. Why the fuck would I ever go to Palestine if I didn't give a shit about Palestinians? It makes no sense to me. Those biases arose because they dealt with something on the trip that you're not willing to disclose. And I don't understand why. I have to know why.
Community do not represent the black community as a whole. One of the most ironic parts about all
I'm going to make this very clear. I think the problem is a lot of leftists believe that black people need to fall in line with their view of thinking. And a lot of black people's biggest inspiration points is someone like Malcolm X. Malcolm X would not give a fuck to help Palestinians out before his own people. I know what y'all gonna say and look at me like I'm let me explain my reasoning. There are so many things going on in Africa in terms of apartheid, in terms of genocide, genocidal attempts, war crimes, just horrible shit. Malcolm X would tell you, care about that first before we start worrying about Palestine. Sorry, but our shit comes first to us because it matters more to us. That's why we are more isolationist. So you have to understand that when you have a bunch of black people go on a trip with you, and they experience racism firsthand from these people that they thought were that you're trying to convince are the same like you, which is not true. Well, a lot of our mindsets is, well, fuck that. We should just help our own people because fuck you. I'm sorry to tell you that, but that's the truth. Malcolm X would probably not agree to help you out first. And people have this weird notion that they think that an isolationist black man was somehow all for kumbaya and racial harmony. No, he wasn't. He was for isolationist and pro self-sustenance. He's into black self-sustaining ideals. He wanted to self-sustain, bro. He did not want to sit there and and I disagree with some of that notion regardless because we are stuck in a place where we have to coexist. But I understand more and more where he's coming from. And this is why. This type of thinking.
This is that before making this video, I was sitting in a cafe in Amman, journaling my thoughts about this topic, and I got interrupted by a waiter at the restaurant who asked me where I'm from, and we started chatting, and it turns out he is Jamaican and Palestinian. But ultimately, I think if you have internal biases against Palestinians, you should not be going.
And I agree. But here's the thing. You are invalidating what happened. You're basically saying that it's okay for them to not be mad that they were called a bunch of racial remarks. Do you not see the issue with that? Do you think that it's okay for you to be called a fucking terrorist bomber lady by a fucking black dude randomly? And then, harassed because he's black? No, it's wrong, isn't it? It's unreal levels of just cognitive dissonance. What are you doing?
Going to Palestine. And if you don't want to acknowledge the experiences of...
Well, they're calling me a slave, then I'm not going to lie to you. I'm probably inclined to look at them and go, do you... I give them a look like, look in the mirror lately and look at me. Yeah, good luck with that. The fuck? You think I'm inclined to sit there and placate that shit? I'm not.
Palestinians in their entirety, then to be honest, we don't need you as an ally.
Good.
Seeing what Palestinians are going through.
Great. And black people, let's all finally start let's be a little isolated. Fuck these motherfuckers. Thank God. Seriously, man. Seriously. And you wonder why I hate leftists so much as anything. This is what they think. You guys want to know this is what the problem is? This. I would never stand with someone like this. You are invalidating my own experience because of your cause. Bullshit, nigga. You think you're the only race of people having issues with apartheid and genocide. Okay. Well, fuck you then. We have Africa to go. Let's go save Africa, boys. Fucking with shit. But for real, let's go focus on that then. Fuck it. I say focus on that. Fuck them. That's the way if that's how you're going to feel, then fuck you. Because I'm not about to sit there and take and cape up and fucking let that slide. That's ridiculous. Rather than try and empathize and try and like make sure your people are okay here, you actually do this?
Only makes you think, yeah, no, we have it worse. When you're an American, you are not a true ally. And I will be talking more about the issue of people taking trips to Palestine with a limited understanding of Palestinians and Palestinian history. Because there were so many other issues with some of the people who went on this trip for all the wrong reasons. I don't know what I was expecting from my trip to Palestine, but I certainly did not expect to walk away with racial tensions between myself and the black people in our group. And that's
So basically, you're okay with the idea of black people being disparaged against and called slurs and slaves, but they rightfully have an issue with it, and you're telling them how to feel. Okay. So once again, why I don't support him? Why I don't support this shit? I don't think that these people should be in. Regardless, I don't think these people should be killed. Even the ones that said those horrible things allegedly don't deserve to be killed or murdered or no, they don't. But that doesn't mean I have to sit there and not have it take umbrage with that. Those people were rightfully angry. But again, that's fine. That's fine. All right. So I hope you think about this. If you're a black American out there, I hope you understand what you're getting into with this shit. This is the type of shit you need to think about. And this is why I could never give a fuck when some fucking retard in a stupid fucking Palestine flag, gay flag, trans flag. Oh my God, look at me. You can sit there and call me a fucking, say how I'm worse than a fucking Nazi because I'm a fence rider. Your words don't mean shit to me. That tells me why I will never support you, even if I don't like the right wing. I will never support your side. I'll never be a leftist. I will never support people like this. They are absolutely unreal and ignorant and absolutely show their true colors when it comes to this shit. So, hey, there's apartheid's going on everywhere. So I guess maybe black people should start focusing on their people instead of giving a fuck about this. Seeing as though this is how this is going to be? I don't mean, man. Shit. I mean, are you kidding me?